Sacramento. Over into foul ground, and the first baseman squeezes it, and Sacramento has won the Pacific Coast League title with a 7-5 win over Round Rock.
The 0-1 to Rocky Gale, a swing and a half hit fly ball left center field, and the Columbus Clippers stand alone as the most decorated champion in the history of the International League.
Tonight, two historic minor league franchises will vie to be the first three-time national champion. The Ephesus AAA Championship is live here on Fox Sports 1. On any given night, the city of Memphis, Tennessee is one of America's favorite music cities. But tonight, AutoZone Park in Memphis is the host for the Ephesus National Championship game of AAA baseball. The Columbus Clippers against the Sacramento RiverCats. Hi, hello, and welcome to Memphis, everyone. I'm George Grande, along with the big lefty, Jim Kaat and Jim Callis, a senior writer for MLB.com. Jim, you look at these two teams, they are storied franchises in AAA baseball.
They really are. No International League team has won more championships than Columbus with 11. Sacramento, which is a newer franchise in the PCL, has won 5 championships. We're going to see some history tonight, guys. Whoever wins tonight, first three-time AAA national champion.
Kitty, always emotion on a night like this.
Yeah, there really is. But what's special for me seeing the AAA championship game, some of the players out there tonight are going to be major league stars. And I referenced last year's game, Memphis against Durham. I'm standing around the batting cage. I see this young man that he has that look. And I introduced myself, and I said, "What's your name?" He said, "Austin Meadows." Well, Austin Meadows has now become a star with the Tampa Bay Rays, and we will see one of these players become a major league star.
Who will step up to be the star of this game, the MVP of the Ephesus National Championship game? The handshakes are over. We're ready to play baseball in a one-game winner-take-all playoff for the AAA National Championship. The AAA Baseball National Championship is brought to you by Ephesus Sports Lighting. Innovative, solid-state sports lighting solutions, enhancing the game experience for everyone. By Jana King. Your AAA cleanup MVP is Jana King. In fact, businesses around the world trust Jana King for all of their commercial cleaning needs. See why Jana King's better at janaking.com. And by Memphis Tourism. Visit memphistravel.com and start planning your trip to Memphis, home of the blues, soul, and rock and roll. Back at AutoZone Park, what a pleasant night for baseball as they continue to file in. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for Columbus, brought to you by Ephesus. Ephesus Sports Lighting, innovative solid-state sports lighting solutions, enhancing the game experience for everyone. Kitty, we're going to see a lineup that is made up of some AA players, some AAA players, and when you add it all up, they're going to face a left-hander, Caleb Barger, for this team that comes in as the PCL champion, the Sacramento RiverCats. Let's take a listen to Beauregard as he talks about his pitch selection.
The first one's four-seam fastball. I tuck my thumb underneath, so I kind of let it just get a little bit better true backspin, not come out the side at all. Second one is going to be my changeup, and the big thing here is keep my pinky kind of off the ball or as light as possible to let it come out the side. Next one is going to be the curveball. Hold just like a standard curveball, try to throw it like an axe, and I try to keep as least amount of pressure as I can on it, so it just kind of pops up and spins straight down. And then the last one, the new one, is the slider, which I played around with a lot of grips, but I finally got comfortable with this one. And my goal of this one is to pull down on these front seams right here and get like a true bullet spin.
Well, I watched his motion. He's almost a homeboy. He's from Jenison, Michigan, not too far from where I grew up, and I wish I had that fluid motion when I started. I'm interested in his pitches. When he says spin like bullet, I don't really think you want a slider to spin that way, but that's the way he might feel it. And then his curveball like an axe, that's actually a little more pressure on your elbow, so I don't think he actually does. It might feel like he does, but boy, he's been impressive since coming out of nowhere to pitch in the AAA championship game.
You saw on that graphic, single A, double A, triple A. He's had a magic carpet ride of this year, and he talked to his manager, Dave Brundage. He said he thinks he's bulletproof. He's ready to face the pressure of this championship game. So Caleb's ready to go to work. Here's Ernie Clement, the leadoff hitter. K.I. Tom will bat second, and Mark Mathias will hit third. Swinging down the left field line towards the corner, curving, and it will go foul. Let's take a look at the defensive alignment for Sacramento, brought to you by Memphis Travel. Visit memphistravel.com and start planning your trip to Memphis, home of blues, soul, and rock and roll. The RiverCats defense, Avellino and Michael, that's the two best defensive players they have in the infield. Pena, that's Francisco Pena. Frankie Pena, normally a catcher, will be over at first base. The outfield, Hayward, Hawkins, and McCarthy. That is Jacob Hayward. Yep, he's the younger brother.
Yes, Jason.
Of Jason Hayward. There's Clement on the one-pitch strike. That breaking ball misses. Kai Tom in the on-deck circle.
One of the shorter players by today's standards. Seems like everybody's like 6'3", 240. He's under 6 feet. But stocky, powerful, but yet not a power hitter. But boy, he's made a lot of improvements as a hitter recent years.
Popped up to the right side. Under it is Peter Maris, and the right fielder comes in to take over. Let's take a look at Jim Kaat's keys to the game for each team, brought to you by Baseball America. For the latest analysis, rankings, and information on top prospects at every level at the game, visit baseballamerica.com.
Well, no surprise. It is that way every game. It's all about the pitching. Command your fastball, get your secondary pitches over when you're behind in the count, high and tight, low and away. The pitcher should have an advantage tonight because these hitters have never seen them.
Here's Kai Tom, 433, 3 homers and 6 knocked in the playoffs, and those numbers were good enough in the championship series playoff for the Governor's Cup to name him the MVP. And again, not a guy who's real big. He's 5'9", 190 pounds, native of Honolulu, Hawaii. And yep, Shane Victorino is his favorite player, and he's got to meet him, got to spend some time with him. He patterns himself after him. Diminutive like Victorino, but a bigger swing than Victorino, and he's disposed of rapidly. There is strikeout number 1 for Barragar. For the Sacramento team, the manager, Tony Manzolino, who is Doug Manzolino's son, 4th year in the Cleveland organization, first time at AAA. It's a team that has stayed together, both of these teams. That's a first pitch swing by Mathias down the right field line, curving. It'll go foul and out of play. And Jim Callis, you've watched this along the road. These are two teams that are, yes, have some AAA players, but they've been supplemented with a lot of AA players as the call-ups have come.
Yeah, I think Sacramento's had 84, 85 players because they just added Jalen Miller today, and Columbus has had a number 2. I mean, obviously, when you're a AAA team, your primary goal is to provide help for the big league team when needed, and both the Giants for Sacramento and Columbus with the Indians have used those teams very heavily. So you, at this point in the season, you're kind of cobbling together a lineup. There's still some good prospects in these lineups, and on deck for Columbus is probably the best prospect in the game, Bobby Bradley.
You mentioned Tony Manzolino. Hard to believe he's Doug's son. I thought it was his brother, and his dad, Doug, was so much fun to talk baseball with. Bright baseball man.
Apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Very similar to him. He's a fundamental player, a gritty player. And of course, his dad, Doug, is now field coordinator in the Phillies organization. He's been a minor league manager and a major league coach as well. Good bloodlines there for Tony Manzolino. Tony's brother is in town to help celebrate. His dad wanted to be here, but he's down in the instructional league. Fouled off to the right side. That's a strike, 2 balls and 2 strikes. And it's about lifers, Kitty. I mean, you started in this game in 1959. Hard to believe, 60 years ago. And so many people come and go, but the Manzolinos, the people like that, the Peñas, they make this game.
I love to be around these minor leaguers. They have so much passion, enthusiasm for the game, and for not as much money as the big leaguers have, but they're really into it. They love it.
The lefty wheels and deals. That's on the inside corner. A call, strike 3. And that'll do it. 3 up, 3 down in the top of the first. To the bottom of the first, we're scoreless. Back in Memphis, let's take a look at the starting lineup for Sacramento, brought to you by Ephesus. Ephesus Sports Lighting, innovative solid-state sports lighting solutions, enhancing the game experience for everyone. Abiatal Avellino's been a spark plug to this offense, on base in all 8 of the postseason games. He's been outstanding. Here's Kyle Dowdy, will be the starting pitcher, the tall, strong right-hander for Columbus. He's ready to go against Sacramento.
Got the four-seam fastball, cutter, changeup, and curveball.
Pretty simple, huh, Kitty?
Yeah, and I like the fact he doesn't throw a slider. The real slider, of course, is a cutter, but the slider that guys call a slider now is kind of a sloppy breaking ball. And it probably is as responsible for home runs as the ball itself, which, of course, been a factor in AAA ball as much as a big league ball. This guy can get it up there, and he's pretty proud of that fastball.
6'1", 195 from Escondido, California. The guy who you saw by the graphic again, he started off at rookie ball. He's been at 3 levels this year, and his manager, Tony Manzolino, says he thinks he can go 5 or 6. There's a line drive into center field. This is what Avellino's been doing this whole postseason. Big turn from Avellino down at first. Let's check the defense for the Columbus Clippers. Guy Thomas in left. Daniel Johnson's in center. And Connor Maribel is your right fielder. The defense alignment brought to you by MemphisTravel.com. And start planning your trip to Memphis, home of the blues, soul, and rock and roll. Adam Rosales, your third baseman, veteran, and there's a bloop over the outstretched effort by Bobby Bradley down the first base line. And it's no balls and 1 strike as Levi Michael will head back to the batter's box. Joe McCarthy will follow him. We talk about the changes in these lineups. Michael, solid defensively at third, can also play center field. Dave Brundage has put him at third, trying to give him the best opportunity for good solid defense on the left side. And you know, it starts if you get a ground ball pitcher with the hope of getting ground balls to the left side, and Brundage has constructed his lineup defensively that way. Michael, 28 years of age, out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Short lead for Avellino. This is not a team that runs a lot. If anybody's going to steal a base, it's Avellino. 17 stolen bases on the year. He's been a product of the Yankee organization, signed originally by the Yankees at age 16. And now here he is, member of the Columbus Clippers.
He was part of the same international signing class as Luis Severino and Miguel Andujar, so a good class for the Yankees. They've done a lot of work internationally, and when they needed help last year and wanted Andrew McCutchen, they sent Avellino as part of the package to San Francisco to get McCutchen.
Came at the tail end of last season, and he's had a full year. He's one of only 3 players that have been on this Columbus team all season long. From the stretch is Dowdy. That's a liner towards the right field corner. It's foul. It's fair. It's going into the corner. Rounding second, going to third is Avellino. Holbert Cabrera will hold him there, and there'll be runners at second and third. You got the idea of the speed of Avellino as he motored around second, hit third, and he was thinking of scoring, but Holbert Cabrera, the third base coach, veteran major league player and coach, look at a nice job of swinging by Levi Michael.
Yeah, he got a ball right in the middle of the zone, and refreshing to see the first 2 batters not trying to launch and leave, but just make contact, hit it hard. They get rewarded with a single and a double.
So right away, runners at second and third. Nobody out here in the bottom of the first. That'll bring up Joe McCarthy. Had a pretty good postseason. 321 already, a homer and 7 knocked in. Fouled off and out of play. At third base coach, Holbert Cabrera has really taken Avellino under his wings. And Kitty, we watched Cabrera for a lot of years as a great utility player. And he said Avellino is that kind of player, too. He thinks he can be a multi-position player at the major league level. What a positive guy that guy is right there, huh?
Yeah, he sure is. Fundamentals coach is his title now.
No balls, 1 strike. Dowdy from the stretch. That's way high.
You notice the infield shifted around to the right, even with men on second and third. The shift is up, but deep, they'll give up the run early in the game to get the ground ball out.
Doughty from the stretch. That's up and in for a ball. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Well, we talked again about the keys. As we look at Dave Brundage, command your fastball. Boy, this guy's fun to talk to. He's about more than analytics. Big on chemistry, instincts, intuitive skills from his players.
3rd year for Sacramento, over 1,500 wins in over 20 years as a manager. He's got this team playing at its highest level. 54 years of age, native of Portland, Oregon, went to Oregon State.
And no stranger to this game. He managed this game, the second one, back in 2007, managed the Richmond Braves, and he lost to Sacramento in that game.
Well, trying to turn that around for his career record. Doughty from the stretch, 2nd and 3rd, no one out here, bottom of 1. And that's a little low. So we'll go full 3 balls and 2 strikes. Talk about this time of year, you get call from a lot of people. David Bell, the current manager of the Cincinnati Reds, was the minor league director in the San Francisco organization. He called Brundage to congratulate him. Dusty Baker, the former manager of the Reds and now in the Giants front office, he called Brundage to wish him best of luck. That's way wide, and the bases are going to be loaded. So not the start that Tony Manzolino wanted for his right-hander. Bases loaded, nobody out, Kitty.
Yeah, power stuff, but if you don't get it over, it doesn't do you any good. Now the infield will be at double play depth, but what a situation here for the RiverCats to really blow the game open early.
Jim Callis, this is one name that we can all be familiar with. Tony Pena, the outstanding Major League catcher and coach. His son, Frankie Pena, who's been a real leader on this ball club as a catcher. He'll play first tonight. He's not a youngster, 29 years of age, but he's become a leader on this club.
No, he is. I mean, he's kind of a glue guy. You know, if you're trying to discuss his best attribute, I don't know if you'd point to any of the physical tools, but it's just like you said, he's a great leader. You know, he's the one guy I think on this team with the World Series ring, you know, from the 2015 Royals, and been through a lot, experienced a lot. You know, when we talked to him before, during the workouts yesterday, you know, you could just, he was smiling the whole time. You know, he's glad to be here. I mean, this has been a long season for all these guys, and he's excited to be here and hopefully add another championship.
You see the Clippers already getting the bullpen ready, and we mentioned early, command your fastball, first pitch strikes, and Doughty's yet to throw one. 3 hitters, hasn't thrown first pitch strike yet. And you can bet Pena right here is going to be geared for that fastball on the first pitch.
So bases loaded, he'll work from the stretch. Pena takes it up and in for a ball. Pena takes a peek down at the third base coach, Obert Cabrera. Looks out at an outfield that's pulled a couple of steps towards left, in center and in left, and straight away and right. Dribbled down the third base line. Rosales will get it out. What a play by Rosales. Adam Rosales scoops and throws, gets it out. A run will score, and it's 1-0 Sacramento. Rosales never quit on that one. Makes an outstanding play. And they get Pena down at first.
Yeah, only way he could do it was bare hand pick. You'd like to be able to use the glove, but when the ball's moving, and yeah, he got a little chuckle out of that. That was a great play. Took advantage of the fact that Pena is not fleet of foot.
Rosales has been around a long time, 36 years of age. Came up in the Reds organization. He's been in the major leagues almost every year for the last 10 years in bit part roles. So now second and third with 1 out. And here's Jacob Hayward.
Well, as you see the infield defense there, George and Jim, and if you're Jacob Hayward, if you could just like serve one down to right field, you're going to get 2 runs home easily. First baseman playing almost in on the grass.
Swing and a miss. Jim Callis, the name familiar. Hayward.
No, it is. You know, he's Jason's little brother. I saw him at the College World Series with Miami a few years ago. Well, 18th round pick. He had kind of a rough draft year when he was with the Hurricanes, and you know, his career's kind of been up and down a little bit in pro ball. Got off to a really good start this year in Double-A. He can, you know, maybe have average tools across the board. He did just what Jim asked for there.
He takes that the other way down the right field line. 1 run scores. A throw to the plate won't be in time. And how about Hayward? Coming up from Double-A 125 of his 127 games came at AA, but boy, does he deliver here, and now Sacramento has a 3-0 lead.
If there's big league managers watching this, I'll guarantee you they're saying, man, I wish more of my players would do the same thing. Second and third. Remember Lou Piniella years ago was saying, if you get me a guy that can get that runner in from third base with less than 2 out, I'll win the pennant going away. A big hit by Jacob Hayward.
Hayward gets his 7th and 8th runs batted in of the postseason with that single down the right field line. That'll bring up Ronnie Freeman, the catcher. Freeman gets the start today with Pena moving to first. Freeman, a leader on this club, native of Lawrenceville, Georgia, another veteran, 28 years of age. And Dave Brundage says he's been one of the keys to this club all year long, keeping our players together. And he gets the start here in the final game of the year. Kyle Dowdy from the stretch again with the runner off first. That misses. Dan Merzel is your home plate umpire. J.J. January's down at first. Chris Graham is your umpire at second. And Sean Ryan is your umpire at third in this AAA championship game. 2 PCL and 2 International League umpires in that group of 4.
That looked like it was supposed to be a cutter, and that's an indication. I think Dowdy, as you see the rest of the umpires, they're pretty pumped up about this start and really overthrowing the ball. He's throwing more than pitching. Got a lot of power, but he hasn't been able to find that rhythm or get it in the strike zone consistently.
2 balls, 1 strike to Freeman. That just misses him inside. And again behind in the count, 3-1.
I would think this might be his last hitter. Angelo in the Columbus bullpen heating up.
Sacramento off to an early lead here, 3-0. Kitty, we talked before the game. What was the key? And you said first pitch strikes, and he's been behind almost everybody.
I don't care what level you're pitching at. You have to command your fastball. You hear guys say, well, I got 4 pitches. Well, how many can you throw over on 3-1, 3-2? And can you throw that fastball in the strike zone 8 or 9 out of 10 times? And that's where it starts.
3 balls, 1 strike to Freeman with Hawkins in the on-deck circle. Runner not going, and that's ball 4. You wonder, you get to your final game and Tony Manzolino's on his way out. That'll be it for Dowdy. Let's listen to Tony Manzolino talking about how he sees his pitching shaping up for tonight.
His starter too, Cal Dowdy. He was a Rule 5 pick this year, or this last winter. Went to the Mets, did not make the team, got put on waivers out of spring training, and went to the Rangers and stuck in the big leagues for about 3/4 way through the season. Went back on waivers, we got him back. He's got power stuff. He's got really good stuff. You think middle September in this heat, potentially it plays. Now, if he runs into a little bit of trouble, we do have the ability to bring in a pretty good bullpen and kind of use everybody.
Well,
I don't think he had in mind bringing him in quite this early.
Not this early.
As he said, he's got power stuff, and here you are, the championship game, and probably hasn't pitched that much lately, and just couldn't find the strike zone.
So to the bullpen already. Angulo was on his way in, and he'll take over. The veteran right-hander who pitched well in the series against Durham this season at AA and AAA, his 48th appearances and a 4-2 record.
Welcome to the 2019 AAA Baseball National Championship game in Memphis, Tennessee. I'm Mike Chiano, Director of Marketing for Ephesus Sports Lighting, and we are proud to sponsor the game considered America's favorite pastime. Baseball is now moving into the future, and Ephesus Sports Lighting is here to provide exciting LED technology to make night games feel like daytime and further enhance fan experience. And now, enjoy the game.
Thank you, Mike. It's great to welcome Ephesus, and it's also great to welcome Fox Sports, as we're on Fox Sports 1 this year, and our crew of Johnny Tyus and Jim Roller back again. Good to have the group back together, and Jim Callis, Jim Kaat up here in the booth. Great to be back with you guys again. Always a a treat to be around minor league folks who love this game so much.
Well, speaking of minor league folks, I've got to inject this into our telecast because it just came across the ticker, so to speak, is that Carl Yastrzemski's grandson, young Mike, hit a home run off Nathan Eovaldi.
That's great.
His first game in Fenway Park, and he was a minor leaguer here in AAA baseball for quite a while. And I don't think Grandpa said he wasn't going to show up, didn't want to make him nervous, but he was there this afternoon. And I'll guarantee you, Carl is hoisting maybe a glass of his favorite beverage right now, and I don't blame him.
Amen. So Angulo takes over. Freeman takes the walk, and here's Hawkins, just added to the roster. And we talked about the different players. 11 players in August called up. The Sacramento team had 318 moves this year. I mean, usually you think maybe 150, 200, but remarkably, with all those moves this year, they still are here in the championship game.
Well, sooner or later, Tony Manzolino is going to have to find somebody that can throw it in the strike zone.
Behind once again, 2 balls, no strikes. And make 3-0 with runners at first and second. Still only 1 out here in the inning. Ryan Howard in the on-deck circle.
Plenty of zip. Now, Jim Callis, I've noticed, and you see a lot more of the minor leagues, and I've heard this before, that the pitch clock down here has really motivated these pitchers to work a little faster. I noticed all 3 pitchers now have worked at a rather quick pace. No dawdling around the mound.
And I like it. I mean, it's one of those things. I've seen it in Arizona Fall League a lot when I've called games out there. And when you first experience, I think it's a little different for pitchers, but it doesn't take them that much time to adapt. And really all it's doing is enforcing a rule that's in the rule books. I have no problem with it. I'm probably more of a traditionalist than most, but I like it. And, you know, with runners on base, you can step off to reset the clock. It's not like, you know, you have to get rid of it. It's easy to deal with. It just takes a little getting used to. And you're seeing these guys have dealt with it all season long, and some for more than 1 year. And it really doesn't, you know, it keeps the game moving. But if you're here at the ballpark, you don't notice anything that seems awry.
Well, the bottom line is, whether it's 20 seconds or not, 3 walks and 3 hits doesn't get you anywhere. And that's what's happened here.
Wow.
As we wind down against Ryan Howard with the bases loaded, still only 1 out here in the first. Swing and a miss, strike 2. So after back-to-back walks, Howard's in a hole, 0-2. Howard, 200 in the postseason, hitting 8th in the lineup. Peter Maris is in the on-deck circle for the Sacramento team that's jumped out to a 3-0 lead here in the bottom of inning number 1. Angulo to the stretch. The runners lead off. Slice down the right field line, curving towards the seats. It'll be out of play, and a souvenir for the fans down there as Maribel tosses it up into the seats.
Yeah, again, a good approach on a 3-ball count or 0-2 count, because all you want to do is try to take the ball the other way, protect the plate. Foul ball down the right field line, good indication that he's trying to do that.
Fouled off and held on to by Ryan Lavarnway, the catcher for Columbus, and there's your second out of the inning.
Well, Tony Manzolino said, I've got some guys in the bullpen to come in with plenty of pop. That looked like, I don't know, a changeup, but he had a power fastball to get to that position, so he's going to need good pitching out of that bullpen to try to keep this a low-scoring game early on.
Well, we've been here before, Kitty. It's all hands on deck for a final game of the AAA season, and both managers prepared to use everybody and anybody that they need. Here's Peter Maris down the right field line and out of play for strike 1.
We mentioned Mike Yastrzemski, grandson of Carl. Peter, no relation to the late great Roger Maris.
No relation for Peter Maris. Ryan Howard, no relation to the big guy Ryan Howard either.
A lot of names.
Although he is from Missouri. Ryan, the big guy, Ryan Howard, was from the St. Louis area. Bases still loaded, 2 away. And Gulo to the stretch. He delivers. And inside, a ball and a strike. So right away, Columbus is digging a big hole here in the first, trailing 3-0. But this is a Columbus team that has come back time and time again this year. They are a big-time home run hitting club. They set a franchise record of home runs. They had 213 home runs, so they're never out of any game. And that's the 3rd most all-time. But again, as we talked about, home runs with the new baseball, the Major League Ball used in AAA, up 57% in AAA baseball this year. That's in the dirt. Good block by Lavarnway once again.
Go ahead, Jim.
I was going to say the big left-hander next to me mentioned that when we did last year's broadcast. I've used this anecdote so many times this year when we saw what happened in AAA. You had the 2 baseballs, and you said these things aren't even close to each other. We're just going to be all kinds of offense in AAA next year, and you were right.
Wasn't hard to predict. We don't know what they've done, but certainly I think almost every franchise breaking their record.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Does he check it? Yes, he does, says the third base umpire, Sean Ryan.
Give me that birthday home run.
That's one of the toughest calls for, in that case, the third base umpire. The rule is, did he intend to swing? Well, I think every time you move the bat, you intend to swing. Of course, I'm a former
You're a pitcher, yeah. What do you expect? He gets the out anyways, but 9 come to the plate in the bottom of 1. Sacramento off to a 3-0 lead. Welcome back to AutoZone Park, right in the shadows of the legendary Peabody Hotel right across the street. And always great to come to Memphis, Kitty. We've had so many great moments here over the years. Of course, the home of Tim McCarver Stadium.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that.
And the home of Tim McCarver.
You're not kidding. And the home of Beale Street. Some good music, some good food, too.
Had a little barbecue there last night. Now, this would be a key inning. Early in the game, you say, why? Well, a starting pitcher, you like to have a little rhythm to the game. He likes the 3 runs, Caleb does, but he's had to sit in that dugout for quite a while.
Here's a big-time power hitter. 33 home runs, led the International League. Bobby Bradley and Jim Callis, he very definitely is a big-time prospect.
Yeah, he's the best prospect in this game. That was his 4th home run title of his professional career. Broke into pro ball, winning the Triple Crown in rookie ball his first year. But he's a power over hit guy, draws a lot of walks. There is some swing and miss, but he mitigates it with walks. Not a great defender at first, but he's worked hard to improve and get in better shape. And I mean, this is a guy who might be a 30, 40 home run guy one day.
5 times already in his career he's hit over 20 home runs. Here he takes a strikeout. That's 3 straight strikeouts for Caleb Barriger, who's really started off. You know, we talked to him yesterday, and he talked about pressure, and he said, pressure doesn't bother me. I'm ready to go, and he's showing that tonight.
Man, that was some good curveball. I had a chance just to chat with him. I mean, say hi because we're from the same part of the country. I didn't want to bother him, but you could just tell by his demeanor, man, he was not overamped, seemed very calm and cool. He's got good control of his pitches so far. Missed a few of those fastballs, but he's got the curveball over.
Yeah, and talking to people about him around the RiverCats, everybody mentions his demeanor, his competitiveness. Yeah. I mean, you know, we're seeing him. He's throwing 90, 93 tonight. It's not big-time stuff, but he really competes and came up, you know, he made 1 spot start in AAA, spent most year in AA, where he had a really nice year at Richmond. He comes up in the playoffs, elimination game, do-or-die game 5, beats Las Vegas, gives up 1 run in 5 innings, and he's off to a good start here tonight.
Here's Ryan Lavarnway, the catcher. Talk about a guy who's been around, 32 years of age, graduated from Yale. He's been a member of the Israeli team in Team Israel in the WBC. He's bounced around. This year, talk about bounced around. He's been in the minor leagues, the major leagues, came up with Cincinnati, and the day he came up, he ended up hitting 2 home runs and got 6 runs batted in. He also had a 6-run batted in game for Columbus when he got a start in the playoffs. Ripped, and that's one thing he can do, Kitty. He can swing the bat.
And wasn't it a great visit we had with, of course, he played for my friend and former teammate John Stuper at Yale, and 35 years old. He loves to play. wants to keep playing, and I give him a lot of credit for hanging in there and continuing to pursue his dream of getting back to the big leagues.
John Stuper says he's still one of his favorite players in his career. Stuper, of course, an outstanding pitcher with the St. Louis Cardinals. He's been legendary as a coach at Yale. Full count, 3-2. Laced into left center field. That's heading to the warning track. It'll be one hop to the wall. Rounding first, going to second is Lavarnway, and Ryan pulls in with a two-base hit. He comes up with big hits in big moments. He's done it throughout his minor league career and his major league career. Here's the swing.
Route 3-2. He's pretty certain to get a fastball, and he does. And you can see at 35, he's not going to set any speed records, but that's in the gap and an easy double.
Says he still wants to play some more. He has no plans to hang him up. Native now of Denver, Colorado, where he lives. So another rattler off the wall. There's a one out and a runner at second. And here's Daniel Johnson.
Yeah, I mentioned before that Bobby Bradley's the best prospect in this game. Daniel Johnson's probably the second best prospect in this game. He's got power. He can run. He can play all three outfield positions. He's got a very strong arm. I think he's got a chance to be a regular in the right situation. And if he's not, he's got enough tools and skills to be a really good fourth outfielder.
Popped up down the first base line. Giving chase is Freeman, and he'll haul it in for the second out. That guy right there, if you talk to Dave Brundage, he said he's been one of the keys to our team all year. Not spectacular, but a leader of our pitchers and a leader of our players. And the more you talk to him, the more you get the feel that Freeman may very well someday be a coach or a manager at the minor league level himself. And here's one of our favorite guys, Adam Rosales, native of Chicago, 6'2", 200 pounds. Yes, 36 years of age, and this may very well be his final game as a professional. He and his wife Callie now have 2 kids. I still remember his debut with the Reds. We timed him when he hit his first home run, and it was 14.2 seconds rounding the bases. It was something. Popped up to the right side. Camped under it is Pena. He'll glove it, and that'll do it. So straining a runner is Columbus. Barragar still has the lead, 3-0. Baseball tonight, but hey, start Saturday strong this week with the big noon Saturday game of the week as number 11 Michigan takes on number 13 Wisconsin. All starts with the big noon kickoff pregame show at 11 Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app. That time of year, but boy, it's a baseball kind of night here. Just a picture-perfect night for baseball. Another good crowd. The fans here in Memphis have been great. The Memphis Redbirds have one of the best franchises in minor league baseball. This is the second time they've hosted this championship game. Last year, Stubby Clapp and the Memphis Redbirds won the title. Stubby, of course, moved on from Memphis. He's the first base coach for the St. Louis Cardinals now. Here's Carner Maribel hitting 8th in the lineup. The right fielder. He'll be backed up by Eric Stamets. Swung on and fouled off. And Avellino will come to the plate. Abiatal Avellino leads it off, and he pops it up to the right side. Camped under it and hauling it in is Ernie Clement. Well, there's Dave Brundage. You know, he's an old-time baseball guy, and you also talk about analytics. He's blended both. He's the kind of guy who believes in instincts in this game of baseball.
Around this game forever, you know, and it's the one thing you can't take out. I mean, you know, it's, you know, instincts are what separates the good players from the great players, and if you don't, you know, if you don't incorporate that, you know, with the analytics, with all the numbers, with everything that's, you know, where the game's evolving, if you can involve them both and you can take them both and put them together, and hey, look, you know what, I can still play with heart, and I can still, you know, I still got to work, you know, on my instincts. I still want to have my instincts in the game of baseball, you know, and yet if I can still, you know, if I can bring all the numbers in and all the spin rates and everything else that you want to talk about, you know what, then you're only talking about a better ball player.
Game pretty simple, isn't it, Kitty?
should be. It's become a little bit more complicated in recent years, but it's still a round ball, round bat. You try to hit it square, and 17-inch plate. You try to throw it over.
Dribble down to third, quick flip down to first. It'll kick away from the first baseman. No advance, and that'll go as a base hit for Levi Michael. So 1 out and 1 on, and Brundage will wrap up and head home to Portland, Oregon after today's game. Another look at the dribbler down the third base line that winds up being a hit for Levi Michael. And Dave Brundage will then join the manager of the San Francisco Giants, who's retiring, Bruce Bochy. And Kitty, we've been around Bochy for a lot of years. He's going to join him for his final homestand. Bochy called him up, invited him to come up and spend the final series with him. He'll do that. Be interesting to see what San Francisco does, whether Brundage might have a chance for that job too.
Yeah, never know.
There's Joe McCarthy, 1 out and 1 on.
Very exaggerated shift for the Columbus infield.
Shifting has become so much a part of Major League Baseball, and it goes all the way through down into the minor leagues, not just the AAA, but down to the lower levels of the minor leagues as well.
What's interesting, and I don't know if it's by design, but as we see some more action in the Columbus bullpen, Chang getting loose, they shifted around to right, and yet they're pitching outside. Now they're coming back inside. Ooh, good fastball. But as a hitter, I would think you're standing up there right now and you say, if I get any pitch from the middle of the plate away, I'm going to slap it the other way like Jacob Hayward did from the right side.
McCarthy walked and scored in the first. 1 ball, 2 strikes to the right fielder for Sacramento. That's down and in. Steps out, takes a look at Holbert Cabrera, who rolled through some signs, and leading off first is Levi Michael. Nub just foul.
Might hurt your thumbs a little bit. Like he swung at that, or half swung, just to his self-defense, coming right at him. Oops.
Fortunately, it looks like it hit the top of the bat, not off the hands. LaVarnway tried to argue that it was a fair ball and he was out of the box. No go for the home plate umpire, Dan Merzel. There goes the runner, gets a big break. They'll get the out at first, but the runner advances to the second. McCarthy retired.
Wow,
3 unassisted.
What? Did we just see a hit and run? I mean, you don't see that anymore. I think that's the first hit and run I've seen in a month. See the runner on the move. And the only thing it looked like the hitter could do with it was pull it to the left side.
Funny,
but a productive out.
In talking with Dave Brundage before the game today, we were talking about the championship series in the PCL as Frankie Pena steps in. Pena bounced out, knocked in a run his first time up. And Mickey Story, the Round Rock manager, and Brundage both used a hit and run, used a steal, and even used a bunt during the course of the championship series.
Oh, during the series, yeah. Wow. Remarkable.
Don't see those too often anymore, do you? Boy, just a joy to be around Frankie Pena. 29 years of age, bounced around in the minor leagues, did have time in the major leagues, made his debut with Kansas City. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Big smile and a positive attitude, just like his dad.
Yeah, I had the thrill of my very last year. Went to camp with the Pirates at age 45 and got a chance to pitch to Tony a little bit, and of course see him during his playing career, in spring training that is, and he always had that happy-go-lucky attitude. Later, of course, a coach for the Yankees for many years and managed the Royals briefly.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Pena, the runner off second. Swing and a miss, and that'll do it. Stranding a runner in the second. Sacramento holding on to a 3-0 lead. What makes minor league baseball so special? The promotions. Young lady painting Elvis upside down.
How about that?
5, 4, 3.
Good job.
1, and time.
That's some talent.
It's a music city. There's a lot of music cities in the state of Tennessee. Nashville, of course, and here at Memphis, the home of Beale Street. Here's Connor Maribel, who will lead it off as we go to the third. 263, a homer, and 4 knocked in the postseason for him. And so far, so good for Caleb Beauregard. His staff for Columbus: Tony Manzolino, the manager; Rigo Beltran, the pitching coach; Andy Tracy, the hitting coach. There's a quick flip by the shortstop Avellino, and there's one away. You talk about guys who are characters. One of them, the former lefty reliever of the St. Louis Cardinals, Steve Klein. He's now the pitching coach for Dave Brundage. He talks about his left-hander who's pitching well tonight.
He's a gamer. He's got a little arrogance to him, which is I like, a little cockiness. He wants to go out there and he wants to pitch good. He wants to get to the big leagues. There's no other thing that he wants to do. Just, he's happy to be up here getting a shot to show what he can do, and he's going to be on national TV doing it with you guys announcing, so he'll be happy.
Boy, and he's right about that. I mean, I love the little time I had with Steve. He's got the great attitude for a pitching coach. He knows there's a lot of data out there, but he really works on the attitude and the fundamentals for pitchers. Boy, I like this motion he's got. And he actually winds up a little. We see so many lefties today from the side saddle. Now, he's a little bit of an angle, but he kicks that back foot forward, or backward, rather, to get his momentum going forward.
Big swing to center field by Eric Stamets, hauled in by the center fielder Hawkins, and there's 2 away.
And I heard Mike Schilt, the manager of the Cardinals. He made such an interesting statement last week about one of his pitchers as we see the motion right over the top. He said, I think it might have been Wainwright. He began to impose his will on the opposing hitters, and that's what Caleb Beauregard is doing.
And boy, he's got a great tutor in Steve Klein. I mean, Klein almost 800 games as a relief pitcher in Major League Baseball, 11-year career, one of the best competitors you'd ever see. And a character, too.
Yeah, left-handed.
Yeah.
Tell you, the RiverCats fielders have to love playing behind this guy. He doesn't need that 20-second clock.
2 away. Ernie Clement, the leadoff hitter, back for the second time. He flied out his first time up in the first inning. Beauregard has allowed a double to Ryan Lavarnway in the second inning. That's the only base runner he's allowed thus far. Swing and a miss, and that'll do it. It's a quick 1-2-3 in the third inning. For Beauregard, that's 4 strikeouts in the early going. Coming up, Hayward, Freeman, Hawkins.
We're back here at AutoZone Park, where the Sacramento RiverCats have a 3-0 lead headed to the bottom of the third inning. I'm here with Columbus Clippers manager Tony Manzolino. Tony, Caleb Beauregard has been really sharp for 3 innings so far tonight. I know you guys haven't seen him before, obviously. What do you guys have to do to start getting something going against him, do you think?
We'll be all right, man. He's got a good fastball tonight. He's landing his breaking ball. It's been tough thus far. I think as the game goes on and you see second, third time through the lineup, you'll start to see some better bats, start putting some pressure on him.
Obviously, you were expecting, I think, to get a little bit more out of your starting pitcher, but you said coming into the game, you guys have a deep bullpen. You were prepared for any situation. Anglo kept you guys in the game, got you out of the first inning jam. What's your bullpen plan for the rest of the night?
Yeah, tip your caps to their hitters, man. They put the ball in play. They found a couple holes. Angulo came in, did a great job kind of squashing the situation. We'll be okay in the bullpen. We got plenty of guys that want to get in the game tonight.
Okay, thanks, Tony.
Thanks, Jim. And here's one of them, Sao-Ching Chang. He was penciled in to be the number 5 starter in the first 2 series. Columbus wrapped things up early. He never did get a chance to pitch. And before the game today, Manzolino was saying, I'll find a way to get him in somewhere. He's been with us just about all year. His 27th appearance of the season, was a .500 pitcher. At times has pitched brilliantly. At other times he struggled, but he's on here in the 3rd. And there's a 4-pitch walk to Jacob Hayward, and the leadoff batter is on here in the 3rd.
Yeah, so far it's been really a tale of the 2 pitchers, pitching staff and pitcher, because the Clippers haven't been able to get it over the plate, and Baraga has.
This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of AAA Baseball and the National Association of Professional Baseball Leagues, intended solely for the private non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or any use of the pictures and descriptions of the counts of this game without the express written consent of AAA Baseball and the National Association está prohibida. Is prohibited, huh?
Yeah.
You say that in your sleep, don't you? Leadoff hitter on, and here's Ronnie Freeman, who walked back in the 1st, up for the 2nd time. Kyle Dowdy, a 3rd of an inning, 3 hits, 3 runs, and a couple of walks got him into deep trouble.
How about another hit and run?
It will turn around again. We'll be bunting and stealing and hit and running again at some time in the game. Short lead for Hayward down at 1st.
Yeah, most of these are called from the bench these days. And to have a good pickoff move as a right-hand pitcher, you need quick feet. You brought up a name today, George, from former Royal and a brief teammate of mine, Steve Busby, had about as good a pickoff move for a right-hand pitcher as I've ever seen.
Best pickoff move by a righty for you?
I haven't seen them all, but I know during my era, Buzz has such quick feet. But anytime you see a right-hand pitcher with a good pickoff move, he's got quick feet.
Of this day and age, you'd probably say Andy Pettit as a left-hander, and Bob McClure was great as a left-hander too.
Yeah.
Swing and a miss. Freeman is retired. That's out number 1 of the 3rd inning.
Well, that's Tony Manzolino telling Jim that got a lot of confidence in my bullpen, and both guys he's brought in, if they throw it over, they got power stuff. There has been a lot of swings and misses.
And like we said, this is a Columbus team that you can't count out. More homers than anybody else in their league in a year when home runs were up 47% in AAA baseball. Here's Hawkins. Courtney Hawkins walked back in the 1st inning as well. Great to have you with us on FS1 for the Ephesus AAA National Championship game from AutoZone Park in Memphis, Tennessee. George Grande, Jim Kaat, Jim Callis. Great to be back again and bringing you the final game of AAA baseball for 2019. Off the end of the bat, squibbed. They'll get 1 at 2nd, on to 1st, and yes, they turn 2. Good job bouncing off the mound by Chang. He ignites the double play. That gets him out of trouble. 3-0. The lead belongs to Sacramento. Another look at a good turn out at 2nd. Now, welcome back to AutoZone Park in Memphis, Tennessee. They got a great surrounding bowl around this park, and of course the berm that so many of the fans enjoy being a part of in the outfield. And we got a good crowd here, around 8,000 in attendance, even though their team is not involved in this game. Here's K.I. Tom. Struck out his first time up after a tremendous championship series in the Governor's Cup as Columbus won its 11th Governor's Cup. That broke a tie with Rochester for the most Governor's Cup in the history of the International League. One ball, one strike. That's down in the dirt. Everybody talks about getting to the championship game. What would a title mean for KI, Tom?
I mean, it's great. I mean, it's my first national championship. I mean, I know it's like, when you think of national championship, it's college. I know Ernie Clement played for one in Virginia, and yeah, this will be amazing. You know, amazing year, and you know, we ultimately just want to come out here and just do our best and just have some fun along the way.
Methodical offensive player, not a big kid, but boy, he swings a big bat, Kitty. And I mean, you got a championship ring from the 1982 St. Louis Cardinals. Wherever you win a championship, it's big.
Nothing like it.
Broken bat into left field. Camped under it is Hayward. He'll haul it in, and there's your first out of the 4th inning.
Well, you cannot draw up a plan any better than we're seeing from Caleb Baraga. Talked about the importance of command your fastball first pitch strikes. He's 7 for 11, and out of the 7 first pitch strikes, he's retired them all. Usually about 80% of first pitch. So he's doing what you should do against a team that has never seen you. Try your best to get ahead, get some of those secondary pitches over, and he's doing a great job of it.
And first pitch swinging. This one blooped into right. Running over is McCarthy. He'll haul that in. And boy, talking about making it look easy. 2 fly balls and 2 away. Hey, it's champ versus champ as Errol the Truth Spence Jr. takes on Showtime Sean Porter in a World Championship unification bout at Staples Center. Plus, champion Anthony Durrell defends his title against David Benavides. Saturday, September 28th, live on pay-per-view. Here's Bobby Bradley, struck out looking first time up. Soft-spoken, big left-handed swinger. Bradley, with his 33 homers, was #1 in the International League. And he bangs this one right where they're playing him, right into the shift, and that's a quick 1-2-3 inning for Columbus. Barriger's making it look easy, 3-0 Sacramento. The AAA Baseball National Championship is brought to you by Ephesus Sports Lighting. Innovative, solid-state sports lighting solutions, enhancing the game experience for everyone. By Jana King, your AAA cleanup MVP is Jana King. In fact, businesses around the world trust Jana King for all of their commercial cleaning needs. See why Jana King's better at JanaKing.com. By Allegiant Airlines. Book your nonstop flights to great vacation destinations for less with Allegiant. Only at Allegiant.com. And by Memphis Tourism. Visit MemphisTravel.com and start planning your trip to Memphis, home of the blues, soul, and rock and roll. Great to have you with us back at AutoZone Park. Ryan Howard will lead it off as we go to the 4th. Howard 8th, Maris 9th, and then top of the order, Avellino. First time up, Howard struck out. He joined us late. The RiverCats put 3 on the board in the first. Singles by Avellino, Michael, and McCarthy. A walk to McCarthy, a ground out, and another single, the 2-run producing single by Jacob Hayward, and it's a 3-0 lead belonging to the PCL champions, the Sacramento RiverCats. Third pitcher of the night, Sao Ching Chang from Taiwan, delivers.
One of the first pitchers, maybe the first from Taiwan, came up with the Yankees. I had a chance to see him in his early years. Chen-Ming Wong. Well, he had a year of 19-5 and then had that ankle injury running the bases. Still had a very productive, brief career.
Strike on the outside corner, 3-1. You know, it's interesting, too, in the PCL with the teams in the western part of the country, there's so many Korean, Japanese, and Taiwan scouts that are there. There's a liner right at Bradley, and there's one away here in the 4th. So not only are you playing to show American League teams what you can do, you're playing to show those teams what you can do as well. And so many of these players wind up playing in Japan or Taiwan or Korea for a year or so. Here's Peter Maris, who struck out first time up. That's his season totals, 228, 5 homers. Bloop to the left side. And out of play. Hard to believe, Kitty, 1959. you put the uniform on.
Played right here in Memphis
for the first time playing here.
Lookouts.
Yep.
Yeah.
To Hopper, down to Bradley. He'll shovel it to Chang, and there's quickly 2 away.
Well, I mentioned in our open that, you know, some of the players here will be major league stars. Well, a little before I played here in Memphis, there was a Hall of Fame shortstop that played here for the Memphis Chicks, Louis Aparicio. So everybody, I don't care if you get 2 years in the big leagues or you're a Hall of Famer, you start in the minor leagues for the most part and establish yourself here.
Here's a Beatal Avellino. He's come up with big hit after big hit for the Sacramento team, not just during the regular season, but in the postseason as well. Over 300 in the postseason, 283 during the regular season. Got speed, good feet, good hands. Figures to be a major league utility player at the very least, but you never know in this day and age. 1 ball, 1 strike. When you came up, Kitty, you know, you play with players in the minor leagues. I mean, you played for Jack McKeon early in your career. He gave you the reins to grow. You never know at these levels how good a player can be, do you?
And unfortunately for some pitchers, and we'll get into why I think they really have a disadvantage, is that so many of them are shuttled up and down. You come up, you pitch 2 innings, they send you AAA. You're there for 10 days, and you never get a chance to hone your career. Like, you know, I got to spend a full year in the minor leagues, 225 some innings, and boy, another good at bat by these RiverCats. They're taking the ball, you know, up the middle, the opposite way. Good fastball there, but right back at Chang, and he wasn't able to get the glove up quickly enough.
That's almost identical to the base hit that Avellino had that gave his club the lead for good in their championship game against Round Rock. He has a knack for coming up with the big swings when his team needs it. So a 2-out base hit. See if he might be off and running. 17 stolen bases on the year. And here's Levi Michael, a single and a double. He's 2 for 2 already. Chang to the stretch, the big tall right-hander. You talked about some of the best moves you've seen as right-handers and left-handers. Sometimes, and just by seeing his first 2 moves, his move isn't great. But what do you do if you don't have a good move and you still want to keep your runners close?
Well, you vary the amount you hold the ball, or if you think the runner has a little too big a lead, step off, restart. But if you don't have a good move, don't show it to him. Don't show what you don't have. You know, sometimes you come to the belt, 1,001, boom, go. And then you hold it 3-4 seconds. And most base stealers will tell you that that's what disturbs them the most, when they can't kind of find the pitcher's rhythm and get a good jump. The guys that vary their count are the toughest to steal against.
Runner not going, swing and a miss.
Boy, we've seen a lot of swings and misses. I mean, the RiverCats have 3 runs on the board, 5 hits, only 1 for Columbus. But that's an indication that there's some good stuff there. You see a lot of guys in the big leagues even with power stuff, and yet they don't get a lot of swings and misses. Either the hitters see the ball well, or there's not a lot of movement on it.
Hit hard down to short. They'll get the out at second, and that'll do it. So Sacramento strains a runner. They still lead it 3-0 as we head to the 5th.
Okay, we're headed to the top of the 5th. Sacramento's still holding that 3-0 lead. I'm here with Sacramento manager Dave Brundage. Dave, Caleb Berger came up big in your do-or-die game against Las Vegas, and he's coming up big tonight. What makes him so effective?
Well, you know, I mean, obviously, you know, we talked about it the other day. I mean, you know, the moment's not too big for him. You know, he kind of relishes it and certainly has taken it right from the get-go. A big 3 runs, you know, for us, and certainly he looks like he's finding a little rhythm.
Your hottest hitter in the postseason has been Abiatal Avellino. He's doing it again tonight. 2 hits, got the 3-run rally starting the first. Can you talk about what he's meant to the club?
Well, I mean, he's been our most improved player. You know what? I mean, defensively, I mean, offensively, he's maturing as a hitter. You know, I just think, obviously, you know, I mean, throughout the season, you can see him grow, you can see him mature, you know, and he's not making the mistakes that he made earlier in the year, you know, and that's important.
Okay, thanks, Dave.
Yeah, obviously.
Thanks, Jimmy. Great job with Dave Brundage.
Got a little rare hiccup with his control here. 3-0 count.
To Ryan Lavarnway, the lone base runner so far for this Columbus team. He doubled back in the second. That's a strike, and it's 3-1. Look at Lavarnway. Came up in the Boston organization, was co-minor league player of the year with Rizzo way back when. Boston, Baltimore, Atlanta, Oakland, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati. He drills this one, but it'll stay in the park. It's center field. Hawkins will haul it in, and there's your first out of the 5th inning. Well, Caleb's had a night for him tonight, and you heard the manager, Dave Brundage, talk about he thinks he's bulletproof. He's got a great approach to the game, and Varger says Brundage is important to him, but Steve Klein has helped him a lot, the pitching coach.
He's a great dude, and he knows every single thing about the game. Like, we're sitting there on the bench, and he's coming over to me and saying, hey, this is what you do, this guy to get him out, and then our pitcher will throw that exact pitch and gets him out, and just kind of look at him like, how do you know all this stuff, you know? But he's been around for so long. It's just been really cool to kind of soak in everything I can from him.
You know, Kitty, you talk about analytics. There's a bouncer wide of third, scooped up by Michael, and there's 2 away. Analytics are important, but there's still the eye test, and Steve Klein is one of those pitching coaches that can give you that.
I agree with you. I think where the analytics probably we see it happen become beneficial to teams more than anything is the shifts. I mean, it's amazing how often they're just shifted right, but yes, there's digital knowledge, there's knowledge you could, but then as an individual like Caleb, you have to have applied knowledge. How does it apply to me? You know, I couldn't pitch a hitter the same way Sandy Koufax could, so I've got to learn to, you know, what works for me. But like Caleb said, you could pick up so much information from veterans like Steve Klein.
He matched up with Koufax 3 times in the World Series.
Yeah,
memorable moments for you.
Yeah, it really were. It was a disappointing finish, but it's quite a thrill to pitch against what I think is the greatest pitcher of my baseball lifetime.
There's Adam Rosales, popped up first time up.
You know who I've seen a lot of young pitchers over the years doing College World Series games, and when I look at his motion, you remember the great Texas pitcher who was so good as a freshman and then had a decent career, Greg Swindell.
Oh, sure.
Man, and he's got this smooth, effortless delivery, just like Swindell had.
Watch Rosales. He takes a walk, and a la Pete Rose or Enos Slaughter, he'll hustle down to first. And he's done that ever since he was a little kid in Little League. And that's the way he does it. There's Steve Klein, the pitching coach for the Sacramento club. He sits, he'll pick his spots. He'll sit in the bullpen sometimes. He'll sit with his pitchers and just talk the game from beginning to end. So Rosales is on with 2 away. And here's Maribel.
Most pitchers these days have a pitch count leash on them, and I would expect we're getting near the end of that leash right here in the 5th inning.
1 ball, no strikes. Maribel grounded out first time up. Hop back and out of play. Both of the parent clubs of these 2 teams, for Tony Manzolino and Columbus, the Cleveland Indians, and for Sacramento, the San Francisco Giants, have called up a lot of players. 11 called up from Brundage Club at the end of August. Same thing for Manzolino. And a lot of the pitchers that they have left are at their pitch limits, too.
That will end next year for
It'll
those of you following
yep.
baseball. Next year, now teams can call up. The other night, the Red Sox had 17 relief pitchers in their bullpen. Well, next year, you're going to be limited to active 28. And I would hope they wouldn't let you deactivate your starters. So
ripped into left center field. Rounding second and holding will be Rosales, and there's 2 on after the walk and the base hit. With 2 outs, and we go to the number 9 batter, Eric Stamets.
Boy, we've seen a lot of nice at-bats tonight. Nice being, we haven't seen a lot of guys bail and wail and lose their balance and look like they're trying to hit it out of the park. They're just trying to hit the ball hard, spray it all over.
You talk about stuff, and you mentioned the stuff that Barriger has, and Stephen Chang with his giddy up on his fastball, but reading hitters at this level becomes even more important, not just the stuff you have.
Yeah, I think if you watch batting practice, I love to have the starting pitcher the next day when I coach watch the other team take batting practice. You learn to read the bat where guys tend to hit the ball.
Stamets fouls it off for a strike. When you played, of course, if you were tomorrow's pitcher, you had to chart the game. Now that's all done analytically. So do the pitchers spend as much time sitting and talking the game the day before?
I'll tell you, we did a lot of money was not paid out in those days. Nobody made a lot of money. So I'll tell you in a minute if he doesn't make the third out.
Big breaking
nice.
ball.
Ooh, thought that was in for a strike. I would pay one of the coaches $10 to chart for me, and then I would read it the next day because I want to watch the game. I didn't want to just chart. But yeah, we charted the pitches the day before, and then you'd look and see which ones they hit, which ones they missed, and that would give you a little insight into what they hit. Still, you had to go with what your own stuff was.
2 on, 2 out, a ball and a strike to Stamets. Great pitching coaches and managers you played for. Best pitching coach you ever?
Johnny Sain, without a doubt. I mean, I had some good coaches, but Johnny he had a knack. And of course, if there was a Hall of Fame, coaches in the Hall of Fame, he would certainly be my pick. Wherever he went, he had 20-game winners, starting with Whitey Ford back in '64.
What did he teach you?
Well, he had a little, what we call a short curve, controlled breaking ball, but I think it was just the mental approach more than anything. It wasn't mechanical. It was just he put you in the right frame of mind, make you believe in your stuff, which is, I think, what Steve Klein tries to do the same thing, as well as a lot of other coaches.
Spine and sane and pray for rain.
That was the slogan back in Boston in the late 40s.
2 balls, 2 strikes. And, of course, Spine, he wrote the book. Hitting is timing and pitching is disrupting timing.
Yep.
No matter what the radar gun says, you still have to change speeds and locate. Another look.
Boy, when you see something like this, you think of Christian Yelich, who fouled one off his kneecap and is missing the rest of the season for the Brewers.
No matter how many guards you put on your arms and your feet and your shins, you always can find a spot where it's going to miss him, huh?
Yeah, they never seem to hit that guard.
2-2. 2 on, 2 out. And we'll go full 3 balls and 2 strikes, so that'll release both runners. A base hit here.
Yeah,
should score 1, could score 2.
Biggest threat Columbus has had, so I would think that Caleb is right near the end of his night's work. This is a big pitch for him.
2 on, 2 out, runners going. That is a called strike 3. Caleb Barriger gets what he needs. He's been outstanding tonight. He's got a 3-0 lead. Hey, it's the dawn of a new era as WWE Friday Night SmackDown comes to Fox. The action's unleashed every Friday night beginning October 4th, only on Fox. Back here at AutoZone Park in Memphis, Tennessee. The Sacramento RiverCats with a 3-0 lead over Columbus. All 3 runs coming in the first if you joined us late. And then the story of the game from that point on has been Caleb Barriger. 28 games during the regular season, but boy, he's been outstanding here, unblemished so far, allowing only a hit and a walk. Got out of a jam with stranding 2 runners. And here we go to Joe McCarthy in the 5th inning as the RiverCats.
We got to be ready up
try
here.
To play add-on.
Yeah, that's right over our head. I'll tell you, that's about as exaggerated as a shift as we've seen tonight. And that's typical with your left-hand pull hitters. They're the ones that are victimized by that shift more than anybody.
McCarthy, a walk and a ground out, 0 for 1. He walked and then later scored in the 1st inning. In the 1st, Avellino singled. Levi Mitchell doubled to put runners at 2nd and 3rd. McCarthy walked to load the bases. Frankie Pena grounded out to plate 1 run, and then Jacob Hayward knocked in 2 with a single, and that's where we are, 3-0 Sacramento. The RiverCats trying to win the AAA National Championship game. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The Big, tall right-hander out of Taiwan. Sao Ching Chang, the third pitcher. Kyle Dowdy started a third of an inning, 3 hits, 3 runs. Angulo, an inning and a third. Scooped up down behind the second base bag, and there's your first out of the 5th.
Number 23, Francisco.
Here comes Frankie Pena. His ground out plated a run. He struck out his second time up. The son of former Major League catcher, Major League coach, minor league coach, Tony Pena. And if you knew Tony and you sit next to Frankie, they're very similar. This is what Frankie said he learned from his dad.
It's the same game. It's just having to play a game as a little kid. Like I said, just always have fun, just enjoy, don't try to put too much pressure on it, and just have fun. And whatever happens. It's just one game. Anything can happen, so just have fun.
The ball's 1 strike. You know, Kitty, you close your eyes, you think of Tony Pena, you think of those smiling eyes and smiling face. That's Frankie, too.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Tony was a happy ball player. A lot of energy.
1 ball, 1 strike. Swing and a miss on the breaking ball, and it's 1-2. Chang had geared himself up to start in the first playoff series and in the second playoff series. Didn't get to pitch in either one because he never got to his spot in the rotation. Broken bat down to short. Statement's in the dirt, and it's picked by Bradley. Nice job by Bradley.
Those awkward hops, the short hops, first baseman can scoop pretty easily, but this had that about a 2-foot hop, kind of aimed that one over there. Knew he had plenty of time and didn't really let it go. Nice play, and Pena just avoided a collision there.
They've done a great job on the field here. They've had, now almost every minor league park and many major league parks bring soccer in and other events, and they had to resod this whole field, and it really looks good. You've got a soccer game coming in after this game later on this week, another professional soccer game, but they've done a great job here, and our thanks to everyone in the Memphis Redbirds organization. They've been so helpful. A couple of times we've been here, and they do a great job at this ballpark. Here's Jacob. He singled in 2 in the first and then walked in the third.
Yeah, they're such great hosts. Wonderful place to come for a minor league game, and fortunately nowadays in AAA baseball there are a lot of cities that do a good job of that.
2-0 up and in. Ball 3, 3 balls, no strikes. What did Jacob learn from his brother? He said, well, we're like twins. I'm always with him. I'm always hanging with him. He's helping me every step of the way. He talks to him on a regular basis. That's a pretty good role model in Jason Hayward. He's a first-class person and a fine ball player now with the Cubs. And there's ball 4. So he's been on base all 3 times, a run-scoring single and then 2 walks. And that'll bring up the catcher, Ronnie Freeman, who walked in the first and then struck out.
Oh, this certainly would be an ideal time. 2 outs, man on first. Try a stolen base. And what teams will try to do is they've seen Chang's pattern. If they can guess breaking balls, send him on that pitch, he'll get a little better jump. But it wouldn't surprise me to see Hayward try to steal second base here.
Freeman steps in with 2 outs and a runner on. Slash down the right field line, curving, heading to the berm area, and there's a foul ball for the folks to fight over. Well, Sacramento's doing something that not many people have been able to do, and that's keep Columbus in the ballpark so far. Columbus, a home run hitting ball club. Sacramento, very similar in the PCL, but Sacramento's done it with small ball on this night. Here's the 0-1.
Small ball and wild ball.
Yeah.
Wild ball.
The old scoreboard in Cincinnati used to flash "Walks Will Haunt." Remember that?
Yeah.
They do haunt, don't they?
They certainly do.
That was your first preaching when you were a coach there. First pitch strikes, right?
No question. That's the only data I want. First pitch strikes, you get 80% of them out. And, of course, Tom Browning that year did that to a T. First rookie pitcher to win 20 games in 34 years.
You're still his favorite coach, and he's probably still one of your favorite players.
Sure is.
Still in the Cincinnati area, and still, of course, very much a part of the Reds team. 0-2, check swing. He went around. Runner stranded. They've stranded 5, but Sacramento has a 3-0 lead. There's the man of the hour, calm, cool, and collected. He is now, and he was on the mound, Caleb Beauregard. 5 innings, 2 hits, 5 strikeouts, no runs. Kitty, he was something else tonight.
Yeah, fastball to all quadrants. You see that one up and in, that one down around the knees. Nice curveball, got that in first strike, got his secondary pitches over. Another one down and away. And called strike 3 there. 9 out of 18 hitters first pitch strikes. That's not a high percentage, but every hitter he got strike 1 on, he got the hitter out. 68 pitches, 39 strikes, and as he matures, he's going to even do better than that. But boy, that was a great performance.
Well, he gave his manager Dave Brundage everything he wanted. He exits with a 3-0 lead. Here's Ricardo Pinto, who takes over. Started the year at AA, has made it back to the AAA level, and he'll try to keep it where it is for the Sacramento RiverCats. Top of the order, Eric Clement. Flied out, struck out, 0 for 2. The only offense so far for Columbus, a 1-out double by Ryan Lavarnway in the second, and then a 2-out single by Maribel in the 5th. The only 2 hits. The only other base runner, a walk to Rosales in the 5th inning. That's how good Beauregard was. Columbus trying to come up with some lightning of their own to try to get back in this game.
See Pinto working way off the left first base side of the rubber, left side of the rubber. That's kind of a trend these days. Always was unusual for years. Gets it up there pretty good too. In the 90s, that was an off-speed pitch at 87, but we were taught as left-handers use the first base side of the rubber, keep your whole foot on the rubber for leverage, and also you get better command of that arm side of the plate. See, he's on the first base side.
Down to third, but foul.
And he probably feels from there he can, you know, get the outside corner, command the outside corner a little better. It's all, I think, a matter of comfort. You have that fundamentals and the sort of the norm that you say this is the way maybe most pitchers do it, but you have to find out what's comfortable for you.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Clement. From the windup, Pinto. Sky-high pop-up in the infield. Who's going to take charge? The shortstop, Avellino will, and there's one away. Hey, today's coverage of the Ephesus AAA National Championship game is brought to you on AFN, the American Forces Network. We welcome the nearly 1 million men and women of the United States Armed Forces stationed around the globe in 175 countries and on the high seas. So proud to have you with us and hope you're enjoying the broadcast. Thanks for all you do to allow us to enjoy baseball here in the States, and we hope you're enjoying tonight's broadcast. Here's K.I. Tom, struck out, flied out 0 for 2. 25 years of age, 5'9", 190 pounds. MVP of the Columbus Clippers championship run in the final series as they defeated Durham, the defending champions in the International League, 3-0.
Pinto's got some effortless power. I mean, he's throwing that fastball 96 miles an hour. And And then he mixes in, you know, secondary pitches. The general rule is, and you mentioned Mario Soto several times. I coached Mario when he was in Cincinnati, and he had one of the great changeups. And we found that if your changeup is at least 10 miles an hour slower than your fastball, that's when it's most effective.
2-2. Swing and a miss. And Tom strikes out for the second time tonight, 2 away here in inning number 6. Can you still... Mario Soto had an electric fastball and an electric changeup.
Yeah.
And so did, you know,
Pedro.
Pedro
yeah.
rode his changeup, and maybe nobody rode his changeup heavier than
Greg Maddux, Frankie Viola, Johan Santana,
and Trevor Hoffman.
Yeah. Every time I see Johan Santana, because I do some work for the Twins, I just shake my head and say, oh, how I wish I had your changeup. But they never encouraged us. It was just fastball, get control of your fastball, change speeds on your curve. But to me today, the best combination of pitching, particularly for a lefty, like Frank Viola, Johan Santana, Tommy Glavine, fastball, I don't care how fast it is, changeup, and a slow curve. There's another one, no guard there, right off the inside of that shin. Wow. That had to hurt.
Soto won and pitched well with just a fastball and a changeup. Could you do that today still?
Oh, I think so. Well, he had a little slider as well. I think you have to have, as a starter, at least an average third pitch to show the hitter.
No balls, 2 strikes. He had a slider, but seldom used. Johnny Bench tells the story that they wanted to try a slider, tried it to Henry Aaron, and Henry hit one about 420 feet. Came back and said, tell Soto he doesn't need a slider.
Henry did that to a few pitchers more than just Mario.
Swing and a miss. Electric inning. 1, 2, 3, 2 strikeouts. Still 3-0 Sacramento.
Sacramento RiverCats continue to maintain a 3-0 lead over the Columbus Clippers here at Memphis AutoZone Park. I'm with Pat O'Connor, the president and CEO of Minor League Baseball. Pat, can you just talk about what an amazing job the Redbirds and the city of Memphis have done with this game, the AAA National A Championship?
Well, a fabulous physical plant, Jim, and the crowd has been a great turnout. All week, the city has just welcomed AAA baseball and minor league baseball to this city. It's a great place to come, and they've lived up to their reputation, and they continue to do a great job here in Memphis.
It's a cool event. We enjoy broadcasting it every year. It's the official end of the minor league season. Another good year for minor league baseball. Attendance was up. Could you just talk about where minor league baseball stands?
Well, we're really strong. You know, attendance 41.5, an increase. Probably one of the only sports leagues in the continental U.S. to experience an increase in in-stadium attendance from every level, from our rookie leagues, short season, all the way through. Of course, the job that Las Vegas did in their new ballpark. So, you know, attendance is strong. And, you know, we talked about the last two April and May, Jim. Mother Nature won. And when the weather's good, our fans come out, and they came out in droves this year. And we're really proud of what the 160 clubs have done, and we're looking forward to next year already.
Okay, well, thanks, Pat. Keep up the good work.
All right, thank you, Jim. Thanks for Fox for doing the ball game.
Thanks, Jimmy. There's a grass cutter down to short. The throw to first. 2 nice plays by the left side of the infield, Eric Stamets and Adam Rosales. And quickly there's 2 outs here in the 6th inning, and that'll bring up Peter Maris. And, of course, Jim Kaat, you know, we sat here a year ago, and I had you close your eyes and put 2 balls in your hand. One was a major league ball, one was a AAA baseball, and it took you about 10 seconds to see the difference. This year, the Major League Baseball has been in AAA. Home runs are up 57%. It's scheduled also to be used throughout the minor leagues next year. They may change that. That's possible.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt that Major League Baseball Park Avenue is going to take a look at the ball because you know, the numbers are obvious.
There's a big swing and a fly ball to right, going back at the wall, looking up, going to be gone. Peter Maris delivers a big swing. No relation to Roger Maris, but that was the kind of swing that the left-hander would love to take home for the offseason. So Maris gets Sacramento on the board again. Take another look at this big swing.
Yeah, looked like inside below the belt, which is a left-hand hitter's favorite pitch. That was about belt high. And he barreled that one up. It had that magic sound from a hitter right off the bat. Ironically, talking about the major league ball. Now, would that have been a home run? I don't know, the minor league ball. But, you know, the International League and minor league ball, particularly the International League, has really worked hard to cut down the time of game. So they cut down the time of games by 6 or 7 minutes. And now, with the Major League Baseball being used in AAA, they've added 12 minutes to the game. So it's resulted in more home runs, more pitching changes. There's the home run production numbers. And
there's a rocket shot into the left field. It'll bounce off the wall. Rounding first. Going to second is Avellino, and he's out. So Avellino gets another hit. It's his third hit of the ball game, but he's nailed it second on a perfect throw by Tom. Another look. A big home run and a big throw from left field. Sacramento leads it by a score of 4-0. Hey, don't forget primetime baseball coming your way Thursday night at 7 Eastern. It's the Cardinals taking on the Cubs as they battle for the National League Central on Fox or the Fox Sports app. Check out local listings for the game in your area. We figured, Kitty, at the beginning of the year that the Central Division of the National League would be tight. Everybody pointed to the Cubs, the Cardinals, Milwaukee. You know, certainly losing Yelich really hits Milwaukee in that stretch run, but it's down to the Cubs and Cardinals, and this is the Cubs' really last shot at it right now.
Yeah, this would be a great couple of series they have left.
Here's Bobby Bradley, struck out, grounded out, 0 for 2. The home run leader in the International League with 33. What did that mean to him?
I mean, it's a great year. I mean, just hunkered down, focused on just what I was doing, having a better approach at the plate, and just focused on getting better in defense as well.
International League All-Star, working on his defense all the time. In his career, 5 times over 20 home runs in a season, and 4 times he's led the league. Swing and a miss this time. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Jim Callis, no doubt this guy's a prospect.
Sorry about that, George. Yeah, no, I mean, he's got legitimate power, some of the best left-handed power in the minor leagues. You don't win 4 home run crowns in 6 pro years by accident.
And Kitty, as you look at him from a pitching standpoint, he talked about making adjustments. He got up to the big club in Cleveland, struggled, came back down, really readjusted his approach, and finished strong again in this postseason. What do you see as you look at him setting up?
Well, I mean, we have that expression, we being pitchers, you'll see a guy and you say he looks hitterish. You know, he just looks like the kind of guy that can hit. But again, you see a great example there by Pinto. High and tight, low and away, get that off-speed pitch over, and if you can pitch that, you could get any hitter out. But it looks like so far that Bobby's been the kind of guy that anything middle of the plate in, he's going to pull with some power. And I think what he found out in the big leagues, as everybody does, is they don't make quite as many mistakes there. But again, he's a talented guy, and as a kid, as he says, I'm going to make adjustments and get back up there.
Here's Ryan Lavarnway, double and a fly ball to center. He's hit the ball hard twice. Product of Yale, he and Craig Breslow, of course, a battery mate, both Yale products, and a fine line of former Eli's. You can add Ron Darling to that list of guys who've made it to the major leagues. And you get a feeling as you talk to Ryan that, first of all, he's not finished. He wants to continue to play. Secondly, he's got a great head on his shoulders. He understands the game. He studies the game. And he's not ready to hang the spikes up yet.
No, he kind of indicated that maybe he'd like to get into what we do, which I told him is called legalized robbery.
It's better than working.
Yeah, you just sit here and talk about it. You don't worry about hanging sliders or taking call strike 3. But, yeah, you could just tell by talking to him. He's such an intelligent young man.
Big swing this time. They'll get him. And Pinto's got some giddy up, doesn't he?
Boy, I'll say he has got a great combination.
That's 4 straight strikeouts for Pinto. 2 away here in the 7th inning.
He's throwing about more than 2/3 strikes. For strikes, and that great differential between the mid to high 90s fastball and then off-speed pitches about 10 miles an hour slower than that.
Daniel Johnson popped up, grounded out 0 for 2. And Pinto's going to have another 1-2-3 easy inning. The clock running down, 4-0 Sacramento.
Okay, the Sacramento RiverCats have a 4-0 lead. They're 6 outs away from their 3rd AAA National Championship. I'm here with Kyle Haynes, the farm director of the Giants. Kyle, it's been a great year for the farm system. 5 teams made the playoffs. Your RiverCats are close to become the first team ever win 3 AAA National Championships. A lot of prospect influx into the system. You just talk about the way the year's gone for the Giants system?
Yeah, it started out slow, and like you said, we ended on a good note. 5 teams in the playoffs. Winning's not our objective, development is, but I think part of that's the development of the players that we had in the system. We started out the year a little slow. Everybody's came on strong late, and before you know it, you look up, 5 teams are in the playoffs. A lot of guys kind of had really good years that finished up in August really well, so that was encouraging to see.
Sacramento RiverCats, pretty amazing. I think it's, 2 more guys have come up since they've won the PCL championship. I think 85 different players on the RiverCats this year. Can you talk about the job that Dave Brunage and his staff have done to kind of keep everything together? It seems like guys coming and going obviously have to help the big league club when they need it. And here they are, very close to win the AAA National Championship.
Oh, they've done fantastic. And realistically, you always talk about it takes everybody to win a championship. And I can legitimately say every guy that was a part of that 85 did something, one game or another. And that includes Pinto, who just joined us off waivers, coming up big in the championship series. Every guy that has put that RiverCats uniform on so far has been a part of winning and getting us to this point. And that's a testament to Brundy and the staff and Kleiner, Damon, Holbert, everybody over there doing everything they can. And obviously the players deserve the full credit. I mean, they all pull for each other. That's a special locker room.
Thanks, Kyle.
Thanks, Jimmy. Levi Michael bloops base hit into right field. So the leadoff hitter on here in the 7th. And here's Joe McCarthy. So for Michael, that's his 3rd hit of the night, 3 for 4. And McCarthy, a walk scored in the 1st, bounced out twice. And here's Kyle Nelson, the new pitcher. If he joined us late, Kyle Dowdy started, went a 1/3 of an inning, allowed 3 hits and 3 runs. Angulo pitched an inning and 2/3. Sao Ching Chang, the next pitcher. And now here's Nelson as we go to the 7th inning. We talk so much about the athletes, and there's so much invested in these teams and these players. The interview that Jimmy just had, and that is a call strike 3. So McCarthy's retired. There's 1 out, 1 on, and here comes Frankie Pena once again. And Kitty, you're an advisor with the Minnesota Twins now, which is great to have you back. And
I'm an assistant. I don't advise too much. I listen a lot, and I love being affiliated with him. But Dave St. Peter is nice enough to bring me along. I do a little ambassador work, some games on TV, and have developed a really nice relationship with Derek Falvey, their head of baseball ops. So, yeah, it's a lot of fun to be involved in that.
What's the difference in the minor leagues and in development now from when you came up?
Well, I think a lot of it is there's so many things. The coaching. You look down these coaching staffs, when they introduce the teams.
Bounce down to short. 1 at second, on to first. They'll turn the double play, and that'll wrap up the inning. We'll talk more about that when we return. So after the base hit, a double play gets them out of trouble. Still 4-0 Sacramento. Sacramento leading Columbus 4-0, top of the 8th inning. Here's our Dave & Buster's offensive play of the game. Dave & Buster's, best sports bar ever. Best swing for Peter Maris ever. A home run for him. Our Dave & Buster's offensive play of the game. He got every piece of this one.
Yeah, he did.
I'll have to celebrate in that Sacramento clubhouse and on the bench so far with a 4-0 lead. We go to the 8th inning.
Melvin Adon, you can see the innings almost a hit per inning. Lots of strikeouts, but a few walks as well.
Adon will face Adam Rosales. Popped up and walked 0 for 1. How about these numbers, Kitty? 7 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts. That's a prescription for success.
Well, every game, it's all about the pitching. And you say, well, what about all the home runs? Well, when you look at the home runs, particularly in the big leagues, a high percentage of them are off bad pitches. You know, mostly bad sliders. Tonight, we've really seen a lot of swings and misses, good solid pitching. Only difference really for Columbus is that Kyle Dowdy had a little trouble finding the strike zone. He threw less than half his pitches in the strike zone and put him in an early hole. But the relievers now, other than the 1 pitch for a home run, have come in and done a nice job.
2 balls, 1 strike to Rosales. You know, over the years, we've seen that so often in this game, haven't we? Where a young pitcher gets a start in a big game like this and has one blip on the radar screen in the first, and the night's over.
It's interesting when you say that in the first. We'll get into the changes in the minor leagues in a minute, but I've had a couple nice visits with Terry Francona recently, the Cleveland manager. Of course, Columbus is a farm club of the Cleveland Indians. Talking about scoring first.
Hit hard down to short. Avellino rocket across the infield, and Rosales is retired 1 away.
So if you look at teams' records when they score first, I mean, at one time, excuse me, the Indians, I believe, were like 54-14. So Tito said, well, why don't we bunt in the first inning and get the first run? Well, the analytics, well, no, he said, that's all I want to hear. If we get that first run, so here tonight, they get 3 runs on the board early, and doesn't mean they're going to win the game, but over the course of a season, you're going to win about 80% of those games. It's still a game of firsts. First strike, first out, first run.
1 away on the ground out. Here's Connor Maribel. Bounced out and singled, 1 for 2. So back to
the changes in the minor leagues. I heard when they announced the teams tonight, they started with the trainers, strength coach, psychologist, and away they went. Well, one of the differences to start with is our trainer was also our bus driver.
Yeah.
And he had a towel and a tube of ethyl chloride. So if you got hit, they'd freeze it a little. Nice play there. Very good. Good footwork.
Outstanding play by the versatile Levi Michael. And there's 2 away. Another look at a good scoop and throw.
Yeah, and as we look at this play, uses the glove because the ball's moving. That's the best way to do it. Nice, accurate throw. The playing conditions. I mean, we never dreamed of having places like this in the minor leagues. And, of course, we had 17-man rosters, 6 or 17, when Jack McKeon was my playing manager. You had about 7 pitchers. And you didn't have any coaches.
You had a manager, and that was it.
Yeah, and it was a good thing. I mean, it's nice to have coaches now to help you with technique and stuff, like Steve Klein and some of the coaches in the Columbus side. But you were able to learn on your own as a young pitcher and not depend on the coaches. You know, Jack McKeon would come out 7th inning, couple men on, spit a little tobacco juice on my shoe and say, well, kid, figure out a way to get out of it. And sometimes I would, sometimes I wouldn't, but you learn to pitch out of jams. And unfortunately for young pitchers today, 2 times through the batting order, they don't get a chance to do that. And they're really, to me, they're dumbing down pitchers more than they ever have in the history of the game because there's so much talent there.
Dave Miller, the former pitching coach in Baltimore and former manager, he had the old adage, work fast, throw strikes, change speeds. That's a broken bat down to short. Avellino bobbles, but will still get the out. And 3 ground ball outs on a broken bat ground ball. Adon looked Adonis in that inning. Here's our Dave & Buster's defensive play of the game. Dave & Buster's best sports bar ever. Haven't been a lot of great opportunities, but this double play started by the pitcher, Chris. It was a good one, Kitty.
Yeah, it was. Good footwork. He did a nice job, as we mentioned, most of Columbus relief pitchers have done. They got a little hole in the first inning. And here, Tony Mansolino has run out his, 5th or 6th, Cam Hill. Less than a hit per inning. Again, good strikeout to walk ratio. Indicates he's got some power. Their
Kyle
fifth pitcher.
Dowdy started a third of an inning, 3 runs, 3 hits. Angulo pitched an inning in 2/3. Chang, Nelson, and now Cam Hill here in the 8th inning. There's Jacob Hayward. He had the most productive offensive swing in a first inning that plated 3 runs for Sacramento. His base hit to right, plated 2, gave Sacramento a 3-0 lead. And he's walked his next 2 times up.
That last pitch, incidentally, George, of the inning was by Adant was 101 miles an hour. Seems like we're getting more and more every year of guys that hit triple digits. If, in fact, and again, I poked the bear a little on this, devil's advocate, if the radar gun is accurate.
You sat there, I sat there. We watched J.R. Richard and Nolan Ryan throw, and I don't see anybody throwing harder than they threw.
No, Jerry Forster actually was one of the hard. He was my teammate. He threw about 101, but I remember with the Cardinals years ago, I was in my 40s, and Charlie Gelati was clocking the pitchers, and he came around and he said, I had you at 92 that inning. I said, Charlie, throw that gun in the wastebasket. I couldn't drive 92. You know, so I always question whether it's really that accurate. But in a way, who cares? I mean, whether you throw 105 or 95, there's a...
Well, the expert...
What's that, about our 6th foul ball we've seen off the inside of a hitter's foot?
That time the guard worked.
Yeah, and just to further that, I think a reason we see a lot of that is the hitting techniques today. We used to take a stride and the hands went back, and you had the back of your shoulder facing the pitcher. Now, as Christian Yelich said, I just start my swing a little sooner so the hands get exposed. We see a little more hand injuries, and then that ball goes right down on the front foot if it's a foul ball.
Hit hard down to third. Rosales has it, and there's one away here in the 8th. You know, the other part of the radar guns are different today. It used to be the speed was measured as it came to home plate. Now it's measured as it leaves your hand, much more accurate, and it's going to be probably faster as it leaves your hand.
Well, it used to be the jugs gun was when it left your hand, and the ray gun was the one that picked it up at the plate, which a ball will lose from, I want to say, 3 to 5 miles an hour.
Sure.
A fastball on the way to home plate. I'm just amazed at looking at that pitch clock out in center field, how quickly. I mean, they barely get a chance to reset it, and that's such a great influence on the game.
One away, and here's the catcher, Ronnie Freeman, who walked, struck out.
Because you hope that when these pitchers get to the big leagues, they continue that same tempo, because players in the field, here you see right there, the players in the field love to play behind guys that work fast, throw strikes.
I think it's become very evident that, and this is one of the reasons why Major League Baseball and minor league baseball have combined on a lot of these issues, because the sooner you start something at the minor league level, the easier it is to translate that to the major league level, whether it's how do you deal with the pitch clock or whatever the specifics might be.
Yeah, you're right. You're not going to get big league players that have been in a habit for years to change things a certain way to just say, well, we're going to change the rules. The only time they did that without asking us is when they decided to change the strike zone in 1969.
So a 1-out walk. And here's Hawkins. Courtney 0 for 2 and a walk today. He walked his first time up, bounced into that double play started by Chang, and then bounced to third. He holds the trigger on that, but it's a strike. Strike one to the big center fielder. Ryan Howard in the on-deck circle. 4 runs, 8 hits, no errors for Sacramento, the PCL champions. No runs, 2 hits, no errors for the International League Governor's Cup champions.
I'm going to guess hit and run right here. I look at the scoreboard, and managers, it's 4-0 lead. Managers love to get that 5th run. Eliminates the grand slam homer of tying the game. There's something comfortable about a 5-run lead. Ooh, good swing.
Dusty Baker used to call it slam range.
Yeah,
stay out of slam range.
Exactly. So if you hit and run here and you get the runner to second base scoring position, at least you have a chance to get that 5th run.
Fouled off. Jim Callis, we see a lot of players come up from Double-A, and Courtney Hawkins is one who's been brought up for this game. He spent most of his time in the lower minor leagues, and it's so true of this game, isn't it? 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Good breaking ball.
Nice breaking ball, and that'll lock him up for the 2nd out of the inning. A 2-away runner still on, and here's Ryan Howard. The designated hitter for tonight, struck out, lined to first, and bounced to short.
Isn't it amazing how many namesakes we've had? Ryan Howard, Joe McCarthy.
Yep.
Of course, we've got the Hayward brother, Amaris.
Yeah. It's like a flashback night.
Yeah. And, of course, those of you that have been with us but missed it earlier, what a great moment in Fenway Park when Mike Yastrzemski, grandson of Carl, hit a home run in Fenway. Maybe the first visiting player to get a standing ovation from the Fenway faithful.
That'd be a tear for Yaz. You know that. Dribble down to third. Another scoop and throw by Rosales. Boy, as he played an outstanding defensive game tonight. Adam Rosales gets the final out of the 8th inning. We're heading to the 9th in Memphis. Rosales in Columbus trailing 4-0. The AAA Baseball National Championship is brought to you by Ephesus Sports Lighting. Innovative, solid-state sports lighting solutions, enhancing the game experience for everyone. By Allegiant Airlines. Book your non-stop flights to great vacation destinations for less with Allegiant. Only at Allegiant.com. And by Baseball America. For the latest analysis, rankings, and information on top prospects at every level of the game, visit BaseballAmerica.com. Welcome back to AutoZone Park in Memphis, Tennessee. The last roundup time as you go to the 9th. 4 runs, 8 hits, no errors for Sacramento, the PCL champions. Facing Columbus, the International League Governor's Cup winners. No runs, 2 hits, no errors. In this winner-take-all Ephesus National Championship game for AAA baseball. Melvin Adon, his 2nd inning of work. And he dialed it up last inning. Let's see if he can close it out as Sacramento takes a 4-0 lead into the 9th inning. Top of the order, Ernie Clement, K.I. Tom, and Mark Mathias due up. Clement flied out, struck out, popped up. Very versatile player here, and you look at the future for Clement, only 23 years of age. Native of New York, figures highly in the plans of the Indians as you look forward. That's wide. Into center field. That's a bullet base hit off the bat of Clement. And the leadoff hitter on here in the 9th inning, so there's still life for Columbus.
That's, talk about a game of firsts. That's the first hit, the first time that a Sacramento pitcher has gotten strike 1 and Columbus got a hit. They were 15 for 15.
And Dave Brundage said, we got an inning out of him, and we're not taking any chances here in the 9th inning. Brundage knows full well the power of this Columbus lineup, a lineup that had 213 home runs, so they'll go back to the bullpen. And when we return, we'll set the stage for you. You're watching the AAA National Championship game. Well, all year long, Stephen Hokert's been in this bullpen for the Sacramento RiverCats. Not many people have stayed the whole season. with the ups and downs and call-ups and send-downs, but he's one who's anchored this bullpen, and he's going to be called upon by Dave Brundage to anchor this game as he'll face Kai Tom, lefty against lefty. 51st appearance for Okert. Tom 0 for 3 tonight. Struck out, flied out, struck out. In the postseason, 3 home runs and 6 knocked in for Columbus as they rolled through first Gwinnett, winning 3 out of 4, and then defeated defending champion Durham 3-0. Tom digs in, and that's way wide.
Yeah, not quite the velocity that the previous 2 right-handers have had, but a 90-mile-an-hour fastball mixes that slider in, which that one was. Well wide of the zone. Nice block. Keep the double play in order.
2 balls, 1 strike. Ripped and caught. They get 1 at first, on to second, and that'll turn it into a double play. Wow. What a play by the normal catcher, Frankie Pena, who turns what could have been a double that might have plated a run and certainly kept the rally alive. But Frankie Pena turns this into a 1 to 6 double play.
I think the ball just found him.
Man.
I mean, Dave Brundage had talked about instincts. Well, that's, you don't work on plays like that. That's just instincts.
The smile
he
just gave to Avellino says all you need to know. Here's Matthias.
And it's, again, interesting about this game. We've seen, I don't know, 150, 200 pitches, and we've seen up there maybe 11 hits, and yet just that one play. Think if that ball gets through.
It's a whole different game.
Yeah.
I mean, you might have gotten a run out of it. At least you'd have second and third with nobody out. As it is, there's 2 away, nobody on, and Matthias at the plate, who's 0 for 3, 2 strikeouts and a fly ball out. And Okert could say thank you very much to his big catcher who's not playing first tonight.
I mean, that was a rocket.
From the stretch is Okert. They play him straight away in the infield and the outfield. That's a strike. 1 strike away is Okert in Sacramento from a championship here at AutoZone Park in Memphis. Dave Brundage, over 20 years of managing at the minor league level, over 1,500 victories, trying to come up with a championship, and guess what? He's got it. They'll meet at the mound as Dave Brundage and his coaching staff, one by one, will hug each other, and out on the field, the Sacramento RiverCats are the champions of AAA baseball. Tonight, a victory over Columbus. The final score 4-0. And there's a time to celebrate, Kitty.
Yeah, it really is. And the right team won. The team that deserved to win won. Their pitching was in command the whole way. They took advantage of some wildness early in the game, timely hitting, used the whole field. So they played some good defense, and we'll have to say you got a pretty good break on this last double play in the 9th inning.
Hugs galore for Dave Brundage. There's the defensive play that really took the wind out of the sails of Columbus here in the 9th inning. More to talk about. Frankie Pena gloves it, turns it into 2. 4-0. Sacramento the winner. Well, over the years, Frankie Pena has had some big hits, but tonight it was a glove job at first that turned a possible double and maybe a big rally for Columbus into a double play that snuffed out just about the last hopes of the Clippers. Frankie Pena's defensive play, one of the keys to this game. The final, Sacramento, 4 runs, 8 hits, no errors. Columbus, no runs, only 3 hits and no errors. And a night where there was some offense, but the story of this game, Kitty, was Caleb Barragar. 5 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 5 strikeouts. He was something else tonight.
Yeah, he set the tone. And Right from the start, he looked like he was in command. You could tell a few more balls out of the strike zone the last inning, but he really put Sacramento in a chance to win this game. He was the main man.
Congratulations to Dave Brundage, who wins the championship at 54 years of age. Steve Klein is pitching coach. Damon Miner is hitting coach. Holbert Cabrera, another member of that coaching staff. A bunch of guys who have big smiles on their faces, but a lot of hard work from day one of spring training all the way through to this, the final game of the AAA season. A victory 4-0 for the Sacramento RiverCats over the Columbus Clippers. Let's go down to the field and Jim Callis.
Hi, I'm here with Ken Brechtile with Ephesus Sports Lighting and Branch Rickey, president of the Pacific Coast League, for the presentation of the AAA National Championship Game trophy.
On behalf of the Pacific Coast League and the International League, I want to thank the fans from Memphis for their wonderful attendance here tonight, and to thank the Memphis Redbirds for hosting this game. Special thanks to Ephesus Sports Lighting for their sponsorship of this game. And it is now my privilege to award this national championship trophy to the owners of the Sacramento RiverCats, Susan and Jeff Savage.
Hey, Jeff, Sacramento is the first team to ever win this event 3 times. Can you talk about what that means to you and the franchise?
Well, it's an amazing accomplishment. Really proud of these guys right behind us. They did a great job coming together. A lot of change, and it was next man up. And I'm so proud of these guys. So thank you.
See if we can get Dave Brundage over here, manager. Dave, can you come over here for a second?
Get to be on TV here.
Got Dave Brundage, manager of the RiverCats. Dave, you first managed this game back in 2007 when you actually lost the RiverCats. How's it feel to win the AAA National Championship 12 years later?
Well, obviously, I mean, it feels great. It feels great for the guys standing behind us. You know, they're the big reason why we're here. And they played their hearts out. They gave it everything they got. And you know what? With our backs against the wall, these guys responded.
Can you talk about, I think there were 85 different players who played for Sacramento this year. A lot of constant change, but a lot of constant winning. And, you know, Caleb Berger, one of the last guys to join the team, comes up big twice in the playoffs.
Well, no question. I mean, from each one of these men standing here behind us, I mean, they deserve all the credit. You know what? They're the ones that put their heart and soul on the line, and they came up big every single outing. It was someone different every single outing. And, you know, obviously a young man in Beauregard comes up, you know, big today, came up big in Game 5. Those are the things we look for in our organization. And certainly for them, you know, they get an opportunity just like guys get an opportunity at the big leagues.
Thanks, Dave. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Great job, Jimmy. Great job, Dave Brundage. A smile on the face of the champions, one by one, man by man. The RiverCats win the AAA championship of 2019. Back with the MVP after this.
I'm down here on the field with Baseball America Executive Editor J.J. Cooper to present the MVP award.
On behalf of Baseball America, we're happy to award the National Championship MVP to Caleb Beauregard.
Congratulations, Caleb. Caleb, you talked about yesterday when we spoke to you how you weren't really feeling any pressure. You'd pitched in the biggest game of the season up to this point, and then you pitched the biggest game, obviously even bigger than that, and came through both times. What was your mindset going out on the mound tonight?
Honestly, just try to keep the adrenaline down. I knew it was going to be, you know, pumping in the beginning. First inning, it was definitely there. Trying to get guys out quick, you know, throw a lot of strikes, try to keep guys off the base.
You had a pretty cool accomplishment in junior college. I was going to say, Caleb, you threw back-to-back no-hitters in junior college. How does your performance out here compare with that?
This is way cooler. This is so much better, you know. This is an accomplishment that I can share with 25 other guys, you know, and it was a team effort today. We played great defense, scored runs when we had to, got on them early, and just made it really easy.
Thanks, Caleb. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jimmy. Great job, as always. And, Kitty, it's always great to see a season come to a conclusion with a lot of smiling faces. Congratulations to the Columbus Clippers, who had a great year. And congratulations to the Sacramento RiverCats. What a tremendous night for them.
Yeah, it's always a treat watching this game and seeing young men celebrate. We're going to see some of these kids in the big leagues.
Well, that's the story of the 2019 Ephesus AAA National Championship game from Memphis. Great to be back with you again, and we look forward to spring training for these young men who will be showing up in a few months. So for Kaat and Jim Callis, I'm George Grande, saying see you at the ballpark, everybody. Up next, MLB Whip Around with Chris Myers, Eric Karros, and Frank Thomas.